Welcome to After the Buzzer Sports Podcast, the show that's all about real sports and real issues. And we've got a great show for you in store today. So we want to hear from you. Give us a call at 803-570-5031. That's 803-570-5031. And don't forget, like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and make sure you hit the notification buttons so you'll know every time that we're on. Let's go.
What's up, guys? Happy Friday, the end of another week. Pretty good sports week this week. Whatever you're sipping on, get you another glass of it right now. Sit back. Let's have a little discussion about some sports. We got some good topics for the night. Let's just kind of dive into it. Of course, always, I'm your man, Marvin Orange. We got Lee Jones. Of course, Miss Raquel M.R. Thomas always bringing it in. So the NBA playoffs, guys, let's kind of discuss this, see what you guys think through two games. Let's kind of see where we are, if teams are hitting expectations, if there's some surprises. Let's discuss that. The NBA lottery happened last night. And I guess a lot of you probably know the order in which teams can pick, but we got Minnesota number 1, we got Golden State 2, we got Charlotte 3, Chicago 4, Cleveland number 5. Do you think any of these teams can be improved by their picks? Should they trade some picks? Let's get your thoughts on that. Paul Pierce at it again. I don't know what he got against the King, but he at it again. Let's talk about PP. Let's talk about the truth. Let's see what he's talking about in terms of LeBron. He got something against LeBron, but let's see what you guys think. If in fact, maybe PP's telling the truth. So let's talk about that. We got a Georgia State quarterback who has been diagnosed with a heart condition as a result of contracting coronavirus. It's a big story that came up lately. As you guys know, we had Dr. David Roberts on talking about COVID, our last show. So let's discuss what this could mean, some of the ramifications from this. We'd love to get your guys' thoughts on that. Also, Big Ten parents, Iowa, Penn State, Nebraska, Ohio State, they're set to protest outside of Big Ten headquarters. And not about not playing football, but about their kids playing football. So let's see how you guys feel about that in light of all the stuff going on with coronavirus. And then, of course, Tom Brenneman, he's in the news, the Cincinnati Reds baseball announcer, with his homophobic slur that came out of his mouth. Do you guys think that he should be fired? Do you think the penalty is too harsh? Well, he did get fired. Do you think that penalty is too harsh? Let's discuss some of the things that he said. So 803-570-5031, 803-570-5031. Hit us up, guys. We got some good topics we're going to dive into. We love to hear from you. So let's get it. NBA playoffs, guys. How are we feeling about what's going on right now? Is it status quo, or do we think we got some surprises in store? Lee, start us off, man. What you thinking right now?
No, the best series probably is going to be Denver and Utah, Marv. That one's probably, to me, going to go back and forth, and we really don't know who's going to win that one. Really was surprised by, not surprised, but how easily Dallas beat the Clippers. I mean, just put it on them, and that was very surprising. Milwaukee, we knew they were going to rebound. We knew that. The Miami Heat and Indiana series is interesting. That one I think is going to get a little tighter as it go on, but the main one was the Lakers last night and what they did. And like I ain't tooting my horn, but you get Anthony Davis is the man, Mark. Raquel, that's what we say. If he do what he did last night, the Lakers gonna be fine. The man had 12 points in the first quarter, and he was all around the basket doing his thing. And we know that he can shoot the jumper, but he was physical, he was aggressive. And that's what they need. I mean, LeBron's going to score more than 10 points, right? Yeah. But that's what I want LeBron to do. Give me 18 points. Give me, 10 assists. Give me 9 rebounds, and I'm good. But let Anthony Davis be the man, because I just think it's that time to pass the torch, man. I just think it is. And so, Boston series is over. I'm not going to we don't need to talk about that one. We can talk about that later as far as what they should do about that. But Boston is over. I mean, Boston's over. Philly's done. But the Lakers and the Clippers are interesting because everybody wants to make the Clippers out to be this darling team, and Luka put it on them. And so the Lakers, I think, stacked. They back to where they should be, I think.
Yeah.
I think that, before you go, Raquel, I want to bring this point up to you guys, see what you think about it. Now, Frank Vogel, he always gets a lot of slack, and people talk about he's not the right coach for the Lakers, but he made some good moves last night defensively against Portland, okay? And that might have been what got AD going last night. If you notice on the defensive end, they really took away that pick and pop game of Portland. When Dame was coming off those screens, AD was showing real hard. They was even coming off doubling him, getting the ball out of his hands. So it really forced Portland, him to put the ball in other people's hands, and they weren't making shots they made in game one. So what do you guys think about the move Vogel made, and do you think that helped AD kind of, get his game going on the other end?
I dislike Frank Vogel. I'm just going to say
I don't think it had anything to do
Go
with
ahead, Raquel.
I don't think it had a lot to do with the coach, in all honesty. I think the players made the biggest adjustments. He did have a better rotation overall, but I don't think that had a lot to do with the coach. I think players get themselves going defensively. Coaches don't make players play defense, especially that coach. I agree with Lee. The Boston series is over. Boston really can go home right now. I think the Toronto series is also over.
Yeah.
I knew the Bucks were going to bounce back. I pretty much agree with Lee, but I'll say this. I'm a diehard LeBron fan, and the truth of the matter is they would have won without him last night. That's a great sign for the Lakers overall. He didn't play a lot of minutes. I think he had 21 minutes. But I also was a little concerned, and this is coming from someone who loves LeBron. He seemed aged to me last night. He seemed old for the first time. I've never seen him look like retirement. Last night, he looked like retirement, but I also think that could have been certainly a part of the game plan for AD to carry the team. I think it could very well be a decoy because they're smart enough to do that. And because everyone else got off, he didn't have to work.
Yeah.
He didn't have to work last night. So it could be a little bit of that, but for the first time, I felt retirement near getting close.
He did look a little fatigued last night, but Lee, I'm gonna give you some props. I'm on the AD is the key to the Lakers' success. I mean, it goes through him, and if he plays that way, and if guys can just keep teams honest, like Kuzma was aggressive, hit some shots. Caldwell Pope hit some shots. If they don't have to be gangbusters, but just keep people honest enough to give AD the space to work and to let LeBron just do what LeBron does. Let him facilitate, let him be a threat the way. But I got to give you that. I watched it last night, and it's noticeable. If he plays that way, the Lakers going to – because, listen, defensively, they've been good. They were good in game one defensively. They were even better in game two. So defense isn't the issue. They just need to knock down some shots and let AD do his thing. So I'm going to give you props on that when you call that.
But when they get Rondo back, Marv, they're going to be even better. And you watch, LeBron will play better because I personally, right now in LeBron's career, I don't like him with the ball facilitating as the point guard. I like him as a forward. And because he's an excellent passer, he's gonna be an excellent passer. Hell, when he's in a rocking chair, right?
Right.
But you're a point guard, Marv. When he can do it off the ball and not be that main guy up top, I think it's gonna be much better. And Raquel, my deal is LeBron, if he gives you 18 to 20 every night, and because he definitely gonna do that was just an off game last night. If he gets that 16, 18 points, that's what he needs to do at this age. Rest up, because look, age gonna catch up with everybody. LeBron has played a lot of basketball.
Played a lot of minutes.
So, and I think he only played 21 minutes last night. He only shot the ball 8 times, so it's not like he shot the ball a lot. He shot about, I think, 50% or close to 50%. He only shot the ball 8 times total in the whole night, and he only played 21 minutes. So he really played half of a basketball game last night too.
Yeah, he did. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I do think the Lakers will pull the series out. But the interesting one to me right now is watching what Utah did to Denver today. I mean, they took them outside and did what they did,
Yeah.
And Utah, what they are, they're great defensively. Gobert with that anchor in there. Denver played it. They just didn't really show up today. But that's probably the only series I would say, you guys, in this first round that's going to give us some intrigue. outside of LA and Portland. All the rest of them, I think we pretty much know how they're going to go. What you guys
Mark, you didn't say nothing about the Clippers. I want to hear your opinion about the Clippers, Mavs. Tell me what you're thinking.
You know, I just don't think Dallas has enough. I think Luka he the baby bird. That's what I call him. I mean, he can give you whatever you want. I don't trust Porzingis, you know, and I think their shooting is so streaky. They don't play well enough defensively to really scare me if I'm the Clippers. But, you know, the Clippers got some holes. Look, let's just be real. Yeah. You know, they fade in and out of games. Like they're really
George fades.
Paul George fades, you know, and they scare me in terms of, you know, the only reason I feel good about the Clippers usually is Kawhi, because I do trust Kawhi and I trust him, and I trust Lou Williams to come in and do what he does, and Harold. Outside of that, I don't really know what I'm going to get on a nightly basis. So I'm not as high on LA. Go ahead, Raquel. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I think that series will go 6 games, and the Clippers will pull it out, but I think it will go 6 games. I wouldn't be surprised if it went 7.
Yeah.
They're not afraid of the Clippers, man.
No, they're not.
Play. The key for me, Marv, is Hardaway Jr. When he balls out with them, then they tend to win. If they can keep getting it, because he's a talented guy, man.
He can shoot it.
He can shoot. He can put it on the floor. But that's the X factor for me in that series. But the Clippers, I think the Clippers are going to win it.
Yeah.
But Luka makes it interesting, man.
Luka a problem.
Yeah.
Marv, you've been loving Luka all season, though. You've been talking about that boy all season.
Look, man, he got that old man slow game, but he'll lull you to sleep.
Look, man, can't play him, Marv. He can handle too good for a big man. Yep. I mean, he's a problem, man.
He's a problem. Problem. So, all right, well, moving on. Guys, hit us up, 803-570-5031. Weigh in on what you think about the first round series. Also on what we're going to talk about right now. The NBA lottery happened last night. Minnesota got the first pick with Golden State coming in second, Charlotte third, Chicago fourth, Cleveland 5. Let's talk about that. What are your thoughts on who got the number 1 pick? Are some of these players coming out of college going to be a help? Raquel, what are your thoughts about this?
And I'm going to be quick because I know you're probably going to be a little long on this one, Marv. I was talking to my son, and, you know, Roman is 7, and he said, Mom, did you watch the lottery last night? I said, no, son, but I've been doing a little research because I have a show tonight. And I'm going to give you his 5. And he says it doesn't matter who had he said it's going to go in this order no matter what. He thinks Ball is going to go first.
Okay.
Edwards is going to go second. Okay. Wiseman is going to go third. Right. Toppin 4th, and Sadiq 5th. And he stuck to it. He said, I ain't moving. That's what's going to happen. And I think anybody would be crazy to trade these guys because there's nobody better to get. I said, okay.
Hey, look, that's not bad.
The talent, yeah. But the teams, Marv, the teams. I think that, for me, I think who goes where is, you know, I'm interested to see what you think about Minnesota, because the Minnesota, you know, they already have D'Angelo Russell, but they say LaMelo Ball is the truth.
Yeah.
Right? I think Edwards would be better suited going to Minnesota. Edwards is the very best pick for Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of Raquel. I think that they'd be silly to not pick Anthony Edwards number 1.
Yeah.
He's got a lot. His basketball IQ is not high, but he's a scorer.
He'll shoot it from anywhere too.
He'll take it from it, but you got Karl Anthony Towns already.
Yeah.
You got a serviceable D'Angelo Russell. We know he's improved his game. He can do enough to win playoff games for you. You need a wing that's athletic, that can complement Anthony Towns. So I think that's the way they should go.
Okay, Golden State there too. Talk to me.
All right. So
we're gonna disagree on this one, I know, but talk to me, Mark.
I think Golden State should trade the pick.
Well, who should they target?
This is what I think Golden State should do, and they could pull this off. I think Golden State should package that number 2 pick, which could be James Wiseman. I maybe with Draymond. With Draymond, because if you remember Pascal, the kid from Villanova, he came on last year, and he's kind of
he did.
And he's kind of in that mold of Draymond, and he might be a little more athletic at this point. but
He's a better 3-point shooter than he is. But
he might be, but you're not losing a lot. Okay,
yeah, I agree.
You got Steph coming back on a mission. You got Clay coming back on a mission, and you know who would be the perfect fit. Package that trade with Draymond. Go get Ben Simmons. Call it a day. Put Ben Simmons with Golden State because they got to blow up Philly. All right, Philly needs they gonna need something back. You know, they've already been kind of shopping Draymond a little bit as is.
So where do you play Ben at?
Wherever you want.
Okay.
You know, the NBA is positionless now. You know,
you put him at the 3 and he's dangerous.
Right? You put him wherever you want.
You put him at the 3, you just put him on the wing and let him work.
He's better. He's a lot better defensively than everybody gives him credit for.
I agree.
He's really good defensively.
A rebound for you.
You put them 3 together, and they picking and popping all game because none of them really need. Ben is good with the ball, but he don't have to have the ball to be effective either. That's and true. You get him in that break, and he hitting them on the run. Man, that's what I think Golden State should do. I mean, if they make a pick, I would go with James Wiseman just because I think it's a need for them. But I don't know who he is. He played 3 games. I mean, you can't teach 7-1. I get that. And you can't teach that skill set. But Golden State, Clay coming off an injury, you know, a year that was down, you know, the window might not be as broad as it used to be. I think you got to go get Ben Simmons. I think you got to package that deal and make that happen. That's where I go with Golden State.
Where do you see LaMelo at? Charlotte?
Yeah.
Goes to Charlotte.
Yeah.
Or Chicago. Chicago may take him. I think he should go number 4. I think he should go to Chicago. If I was Charlotte, I probably wouldn't take him. On the number 3 pick, I probably would take Wiseman.
Yeah, I agree. Go ahead, Lee.
But I think Charlotte needs him because Charlotte needs a face of the franchise.
They need a face. Yeah.
They really need a face. And, you know, they got Monk. They got the Miles Bridges boy from
Michigan State.
And so they need young talent. But Charlotte, they need LaMelo, but Mike got to open up the wallet, man.
He got to open up the wallet.
Mike got to open up. That's my guy now, and I love it. But Mike got to open up the wallet and build that team. And I know he's making money because the NBA is making money, but they're not doing anything. So I think LaMelo, Charlotte will be ecstatic if LaMelo falls down to them, or Wiseman for that matter. But Mark, I'm not mad at you on your pick on the trade if they can do it. But I hope, I don't hope it because I don't really want to go and say do anything. But I think Wiseman is the perfect big for them, Mark. He runs the floor well. From 20 feet in, he got the beautiful left stroke.
Yeah.
And the man's like a 7'6" wingspan, and he's just a rebounding machine. So, boy, they talking about, and I know they're talking about trading that pick, but I think Wiseman is the perfect pick for them. To get them back in contention. I really do.
Yeah. Lamondre, you got something
for us?
Yeah, we do have. We have a comment from Facebook, and it's a question. He says, are we seeing any defense in the NBA? And that's from Jeffrey Johnson on Facebook. And keep in mind, give us a call or shoot us a comment.
Nah, we're not seeing no defense in the NBA. The game has changed so much. You know, you can't stop people from coming through the lane. You can't put your hands and hand check people anymore. The game is just so different now. It's an offensive game. I mean, the offense is selling tickets. It's what people want to see. Defensively, you're really handicapped now. You can't do the things that you used to do to neutralize good offensive players. So these guys are so skilled now. Yeah, defense is at a minimum today.
And think about it. Look how well the big people, the 7-footers, shoot the 3 ball. I mean, these guys are so skilled. Dame Lillard shooting from half court. I mean, but the other thing, Mark, I mean, who really wants to see a 80-79 game anyway? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That was the old days. That was the 70s, 80s, early to mid 90s. But I don't want to see the 85-78 games. I love the 121 to 118 game.
I don't know. I'm still old. I still like the physical. I still like the physical.
Nobody want to do
And we've got a couple of more comments. Coach Teddy Keaton on Facebook says, Portland played some great defense. And Jeffrey Johnson was saying that's exactly what he was thinking.
What were you thinking, Jeffrey, about nobody's playing D, or you don't want to see no 79 to 74 game? Call in. We want to talk to you.
And tell
Guys,
Coach P.
Have you guys been watching the kid Aaron Naismith?
I haven't been watching him. Who's this
He's
kid?
the best. He's the best shooter in college right now, hands down. He's shooting the 3-ball better than every kid in college. I think he'll go in the top 10. You don't hear a lot about him, but he reminds me of when old boy played at Davidson. When Curry was at Davidson, he shoots the ball. He's the best shooter in college basketball. And I'm telling you, I can't think of where he goes, but I was just watching some stuff earlier today. Look out for him. He can be a game changer, I think, on any team, but he's an excellent shooter. Aaron Naismith.
We'll check him out. The one thing about the NBA, if you can shoot, you got a spot.
He's dangerous. Yeah. You got to check. He's the best shooter in college right now. You got to check him out.
You know, if you gotta have some type of ball skills, because people can neutralize just a pure shooter if he's not on a team that has all the other pieces. But if you can shoot, there's a place for you.
Yeah, you can play for 15 years if you can shoot the basketball. So
check him out. He's nice.
Check him out. There's one guy though that I've heard that not many people are talking about that could jump up into, maybe top 7, that everybody thinks has the most upside of anybody in this draft. It's the kid from Florida State, the Patrick Williams kid. I don't know if you guys watch him much, but he's about 6'8", 6'9".
He's kind of crazy though, Mark.
Yeah, he's a little crazy, but he's only 19. Yeah. He's only 19.
We know you don't mind crazy.
I ain't saying he got middle
don't mind crazy.
I ain't saying he got him.
But
you don't mind crazy, because on the football field you love crazy.
But watch that name. Watch that name. And people are thinking that he may have the most upside in this draft because he's 19, he's young, the body, the athleticism. He has
an NBA body right now, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember him from last year. Yeah.
But who I think will end up being the best person in this draft? It's going to be the kid from Iowa State, the Halliburton, the point guard, that's 6'5". Look, he gonna be a pro for a long time. He's steady. He's not flashy. He's not gonna give you all the highlights in the ESPN. But he's flashy. He can run a team. He can knock down an open jumper, which we were just talking about, and he can defend. And he got size at the point. Go ahead, Lamondre.
Yeah, we've got a comment from YouTube, and this is from Eric Reed. And he says, in the old school also, I miss the old days of having to earn a bucket. No blood, no foul.
Thank you, Eric.
In this day and age, you have to score. Look at the transformation of the big men.
Thank you, Eric.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
You blow on somebody today, it's a foul. You can't do nothing. Yeah. You look at them wrong, it's a foul.
That hand check drives me crazy.
Drives me crazy.
I would foul out every game.
Drive you crazy.
Yeah, and that's why I remember Charles Barkley. And that's a very good point, Eric. I mean, I grew up doing that ball. I just like to see the ball going in the hole. But the fact of the matter is, you can't even touch a guy. I mean, you can't touch him. You can't extend your arm. I mean, you can't do anything. And Charles Barkley said that James Harden was the greatest scorer that ever in NBA history. Well, for this game, he may be. Yeah. But you just think about the Michael Jordans of the world, the George Gervins of the world, the Bernard Kings of the world, David Thompsons of the world. If you couldn't touch and beat on them, those guys would have been. I mean, Mike would have averaged 45 points a game. That's easy.
And you guys both know, basketball is a game of rhythm, and you can't do anything to take scores out of their rhythm anymore. See, that's the thing a lot of people don't realize. Back in the day, there would be subtle things you could do to get somebody off the rhythm that they feel in a game. You can't do it anymore. Guys have free range to do, and you got guys 6'9", 6'10" like KD, and you can't touch them. Man, there's nothing you can do. It's over. So yeah. Good. Let's move on. Let's go on to your man PP, Paul Pierce. Guys, call in 803-570.
Call us on this one.
Call in on this one because I know a lot of people have some feelings about this, but 803-570-5031. Our man Paul Pierce saying his thing again. He got some serious hate for LeBron, but is there some truth to what he's saying, that if he loses, he don't win the chip, or if he loses in the first round, the conversation of the greatest is over?
Mm.
Go ahead, Lee.
Well, let me say this. I don't think he's going to lose in the first round. Let me throw my little caveat out there. But Mark, if he lost in the first round, it would be over now. I mean, I don't want to hear you bring that up again. I really don't like hearing you bring it up now. But if he lost in the first round to Portland, no, don't bring that up anymore. Don't bring that up anymore. He's 35 years old. Jordan won the chip when he was 35. So, no, you can't lose in the first round after having the best record in the league. And no. So even though we know Paul Pierce is hating on him at every chance he can get, I think I agree with him on that one. I do. I'm just going to put it out there like that.
Raquel?
I don't mean to hurt your feelings.
Paul Pierce, first of all, he's so sensitive when it comes to LeBron. Nothing he says is valid. It's like he's a girl on a playground fighting over a boy. It's like Paul Pierce, when it comes to LeBron, he's a little girl on the playground fighting over the boy that all girls want to, want to push them on the swing. I wish Paul would just shut up. First of all, the Lakers aren't going to lose in the first round. And I think AD is going to really carry them through the series. Paul has some personal issues with LeBron.
He does. He got
everything he
does. Answer the question, Raquel. Quit playing the fence. If he lost in the first round, is it over? That's what we want to hear.
Boy, I tell you, if he lost in the first round, I might say he needs to consider retiring.
Dang,
he's not going to lose.
I want to give him a rocking chair.
Because if he loses in the first round, that means what we saw last night is who he's become. That's period. If they lost in the first round,
a triple domino, So I mean,
and again, I told you, I think it's very well a decoy. He only played 21 minutes. He shot the ball 8 times last night. So I don't feel crazy about it. But he can't lose in the first round. It's not an option for LeBron to lose in the first round at this point in his career. So from a Paul Pierce perspective, I'll say this. No, LeBron cannot lose in the first round. And I don't think they will.
Stop saying he the GOAT, please.
Boy, I don't know, Lee. I don't know.
Boy, I'm gonna tell you what. If I'm LeBron with fans like Raquel, who need enemies, man? I mean, dang, she's killing her boy right now. Listen,
it's two sides to it. I mean, clearly, if the Lakers lose in the first round, what we saw last night is becoming. It's just a fact. There's no in between. As much as I love him, if they lost the first round, then he would have become the player we saw last night. But again, I think last night he didn't have to do any work. He was put in a position where he did not have to be tired. He didn't really sweat last night. I didn't see
him up again on the show.
Right? On his forehead last night.
You would not bring him up on the show as a GOAT. That's what you're saying, right? I just want to paraphrase for you. You wouldn't bring him up as a GOAT.
He can't lose in the first round.
Come on, go ahead. She don't want to ask.
Lamondre, what you got, Lamondre?
Yeah, we got a couple of comments on this one. We have one we have a couple from Jeffrey Johnson. He says, you can't judge the bubble legitimately.
Oh, come on, Jeffrey.
Come on, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey says. And Jeffrey also says, no fans, which is the sixth man. And then we've got an unequivocal comment from Coach Keaton, and it says, absolutely, yes, it's over.
It's over. Jeffrey, can I say this?
Yeah,
Jeffrey, come on, man. Everybody's playing in the bubble with no fans. And so it's the same for everybody. It's the same for everybody. Y'all, I love LeBron, but quit making these damn excuses.
Jeffrey must be sipping on this right now. Jeff, you sipping on some of this right now? You feeling good?
Go ahead, Mark.
Now, I mean, look, everybody who's played, in front of a lot of people, people don't realize that when you play in front of a lot of people, the first 2 or 3 minutes, you realize and you recognize fans. But after you get into a flow of the game, all that gets blocked out.
Yeah, you can't even see them anymore.
You can't even see them anymore, right?
You don't hear them.
You don't hear them. It becomes now the game, and the fans are less. Right. fans think that they make a big deal in a game, but I want to tell you guys, you really don't. Not in basketball.
Not in anything, Bob. Really not in anything. It's really not in anything. It's them paychecks they do.
Right. It's paychecks they do. But let me hit this real quick because I know we need to move on to the next topic. No, I mean the GOAT conversation to me is already over. I don't even think it's he's not the GOAT. Now LeBron is great, but y'all got to realize this go back a little further with Paul Pierce and LeBron. Paul Pierce been hating LeBron since he called himself the king. You know that, right? That self-proclaimed king title he gave him, because Paul Pierce was like, you got to earn the nickname, like when he was giving the truth and all that kind of stuff and the answer. Everybody was doing these things. He didn't like that from the start. He also, a lot of players I know didn't like when LeBron would say some of the things like, yeah, everybody want me to fail, but y'all still got to go home to your normal lives and I'm going to live my life the way I live. Like they think LeBron, thinks that he's better than a lot of NBA players outside of the NBA, outside of basketball. So he got some beef.
No, he's a better businessman than almost everybody in the league. Yeah, in some retrospect, he has earned that from a business standpoint. Paul Pierce isn't a third of the businessman. So when you put it like that, Marv, it's kind of true.
Okay. All right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Hold on, Lamondre, what you got?
Nah, just one more comment from YouTube. And this is from Eric Reed. This is from Eric Reed, and the topic is exactly what we're talking about. He says, now we need fans to get motivated at that level, but once you're in the zone, it's on.
Yeah. I mean, no, I agree, Eric. You're right. Once you get in the zone, it is on. But yeah, fans can motivate you. But professional athletes, especially when you get to a high level, you get to a point where you get so zoned in, like you said, everything else is really obsolete. But very good point, Eric. I appreciate you bringing that up. So let's move on to our next topic. Guys, call in 803-570-5031. We're going to change speeds here a little bit and go back to football, coronavirus. The Georgia State quarterback, he's been diagnosed with a heart condition and resulting from the coronavirus, and he won't be able to play football this season. Let's get your thoughts on what that can mean moving forward for players that get diagnosed with something maybe similar. What does it mean for college football? Is this a big revelation? Lee, go ahead, start us off.
We knew that heart disease was out there, and so we knew that was something that could happen. What I think thing that I take from it, first of all, is it tells me that the testing is working. Yeah. It tells me that Georgia State did their due diligence. They tested their players, they identified it, and they alerted them. And now the young man has an opportunity to sit out this year and come back next year. So for me, it worked, and that's very promising to me. That they tested, it worked, and the young man didn't have any type of setback. So right. I like that. We know this stuff can happen. We know that you can get that heart problem from, as Dr. Roberts said, from a common cold. So it's out there. So, but for me, the testing worked. The young man was appreciative of the testing. He said thanks to Georgia State that they caught it. And so that's really what I take from it. And I'm glad that they did, really.
Yeah. Raquel, you got any thoughts on that?
I'm sorry, guys. Technology is not my friend tonight.
It's all right.
So I'll say this: the Georgia State thing. Back to Dr. Roberts, right?
Yes.
He kind of talked. This is exactly what he talked about when he was on about the effects. I know Lee probably doesn't want to say it's coronavirus, but the truth of the matter is. The lasting effects for the individuals that recover, I think I saw something that said 82% of them will have some type of side effect, and it may not be as bad as this young man, but these kids shouldn't be playing football, man. And they just shouldn't be playing.
And Raquel, to piggyback off that and lead to you and to what Dr. Roberts said at our last show, like, how bad do we know it really is? I mean, we don't know the effect that this is going to have on this young man moving forward from a professional or from a football standpoint or athletic standpoint. We don't know the extent of this.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what it's going to mean. So although he may be thankful that, you know, it was diagnosed and he's able to sit out, you know, I think this is the question. You know, we know the Big Ten and Pac-12 had other motives and the reason that they're not playing, but you know, if you read some things, some of the the Pac-12 and the Big Ten commissioner, this was one of the main topics of conversation was myocarditis and the effects of it moving forward for their players and what it's going to mean down the road for them, not just next year or 2 years from now, but 10 years from now when somebody's, you know, 30 years old and he's having all these effects from playing football when he probably shouldn't have been playing football. These are the things and the kind of conversations that they're having. So it's so hard to kind of navigate that.
Yeah, no definitive study on that though, Mark. That's but and the other thing is, if the young man had felt the flu this fall, Mark, he'd have had the same issue though. And so we deal with the flu every year. So I mean, and I get it. Look, when those doctors and those medical journals publish something definitive about coronavirus, then I'm going to read it. I'm going to take it and say, hell no, we can't play. But Ohio State is not playing, but every high school in Ohio is playing. I mean, what sense does that make? What sense does that make? You have all of these states and letting their high school program. Now I know liability-wise, Ohio State may say that, but just think about a school district though. If a high school kid falls dead, falls dead on the field, Mark, you're gonna sue the school district,
right?
So it's no different. So why is it okay for the high school teams in Ohio to play, but not Ohio State? Somebody has to explain that to me. I just need to know. Same thing in other states. So but when it's put out there and it's definitive, then I'll come over to you guys' side. Because contrary to what we have here, Raquel, I don't want anybody to die. Okay, I really don't. I'm not the one that wants somebody to die. I don't want anybody to die. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying. That's my opinion on it.
Okay, Raquel, you want to add anything?
No.
Okay.
I just kids shouldn't be playing.
Hey, Mark, if that happens, Raquel gonna call. I ain't gonna answer no call, right? But you're gonna call me for about a week. I ain't gonna answer no call.
Yeah, you answer no calls.
But I would never answer the call.
Lamondre, what you got?
Yeah, we've got Coach Keaton from Facebook, and he says, "Come on, Lee, it's novel." He said, "We don't know what it will do. They should not play." Coach
that's
Keaton,
that's right. There you go,
that's your boy, Lee. That's your boy.
Hey, Coach, you're my favorite coach. You're my favorite coach, but I'm going to disagree with you on this one. We don't know. And Mark, we don't know the long-term effects. Some people, look, there are people that have long-term effect from the flu that lingers with them. We know this to be true. I'm just saying, these are facts. It's not Raquel that I'm so diehard about seeing football and all that. It's not. I'm just saying I need some definitive facts on this. Why person A, he's fine. Person B,
we know enough.
Genetic makeup.
We know
something else.
We know enough.
So basically, what you're saying is that I don't have no definitive facts. So let's use all these players as guinea pigs until we get some definitive facts. Because I need football.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying is they continue to go along, Marv, and they learn more about the genetic makeup. And when they come out and say, this is why, then I'm off the bandwagon. I'll join you and Raquel on the picket line every day to stop football.
Okay, we got another comment from Coach Keaton. What he says, people are dying. And once one of these kids drop dead, it will be a problem. You sound like Trump.
Again, that has not happened. And we're saying if that happens, that has not happened.
He has on a red T-shirt today.
So we can all speculate
he has on a red those t-shirts, okay?
Steve Evans. We can speculate on that. But the fact of the matter is, it has not happened. And God forbid it does. We still haven't had a serious illness of hospitalization.
The kid in Georgia is serious enough.
Well, the kid in Georgia, though, Raquel, and he could have woke up yesterday with a cold, and that happens. So
but he did it. He did it. He woke up with COVID, and it happened.
But again, some people have that genetic makeup. Some people don't. It could have been from a cold. All I'm saying is, we keep saying if somebody drops dead, that hasn't happened.
Marv, if I
misspoke.
Marv, take me.
I misspoke. Not if somebody dropped dead. I need to quit saying drop dead. That's wrong. Sorry for that. I apologize if someone gets seriously ill. I'm not gonna say drop dead. That's wrong.
Well, go ahead,
Marv. You just make sure you make all the decisions for me if I fall out. Okay.
I got you.
You make all the decisions.
I'm gonna make the decision for you, Raquel.
Go ahead, Lamondre.
We were talking about Lee's red shirt and Coach Keaton. Another remark, he says, I got a shirt for play football again.
Oh, yeah, that might be a good shirt for you, Lee.
Look,
play football again. I kind of like that.
I watch it every day. I read about it every day. And as we know, these people, the healthcare professionals are ever evolving on this stuff. And there's not been a consensus on this, Marv.
So let's segue into the next conversation then, because I have a feeling if Lee had a son getting ready to play in the Big Ten, he'd be part of these parents out there protesting right now.
Yes, sir. He'd be out there saying, let my boy play, or we're out of here.
First. I'm not going to just protest.
Or we're out of here. Let my boy play, or we're out of here.
So what you guys feel about this and the parents protesting and being outside Big Ten offices?
Go ahead, Rocky. You the mom of the family. You the mom. Go ahead.
They're crazy as hell. Look, man. First of all, how many of those parents got a son that can make it to the NFL? That's my first question.
They all think all of them gonna make it. That's what they think.
Well, that's not the reality, especially in those conferences. I think a lot of the parents understand that their kids are their meal ticket and they're going to change their lives. They have the possibility to, and I think that's why those parents are out there, because the reality is I would prefer for my son to be safe than to play a football season. And it doesn't matter that he could possibly be a millionaire or multimillionaire in 8 months. It just doesn't matter, because I would prefer to have my baby than the money. So I think those parents are nuts, and 98% of their sons aren't even going to make it to the NFL, so they should just go home.
Raquel, every parent is a bad parent. Man, you kill me with this stuff, man. You kill me with it. Look, there are people. No, it's not Mark Schlereth, but I saw Ryan Clark this morning talking about it. So he said he's torn between the two. There are millionaires who kids are playing in college that is torn between having their kids play. Ryan Clark's son play at Arizona State. And so it's not that they're meal ticket and all this, Raquel. They want their kids to realize their dreams. There's nothing wrong with that, because there's no definitive. Why do you think this, Marv, Raquel, and Coach Keith? The doctors in the Pac-10 thinks one way. The ones in the SEC think one way. The ones in the Big 12 think one way. Why isn't it a consensus? Because it's not a consensus on the disease itself.
So go ahead, Lamondre.
Yeah, we got a couple of comments. Number one from Coach Keaton says, it's 5 high school assistants it just flipped on me. There it is. It's 5 high school assistants in Georgia that have passed away from COVID-19, and no one is speaking about that.
Oh,
and then Coach Keaton also says the Big Ten just needs to worry about getting into the BCS championship.
So go ahead. I'm sorry, Lamondre.
And then I just want to give you the run of the comments, because it's actually a bunch of them.
I want to hear them.
All right. And on YouTube, Kevin Banks says, the flu is not COVID-19. Then he says,
thank you, Kevin Banks.
He says we need to let science learn more before putting players at risk.
I agree. And let me say one thing, Lee, because I know you're gonna come back and you got some strong thoughts about this. First of all, the Big Ten shouldn't even be in this position anyway. Kevin Warren kind of dropped the ball. He's a new commissioner. He came out, way above his skis. He should have just kind of held up. But listen, we've been watching parents obsess over children for years, right? Like, are we surprised that they out there protesting about having their kids and wanting their kids to play and complain about them not being able to play? I'm not really surprised about it. But what I am surprised about, like, they're actually angry that they're not playing. And no matter how you feel about COVID, no matter how you feel about it, it's probably one of the deadliest pandemics we've seen in 100 years. Like, let's be real about that. It's killed 170,000 people.
Right.
Like
and for you to think that something has to be definitive for kids to play football is crazy, Lee.
No, I'll address it in a minute, but go ahead, Mark. Finish your thought.
On a visceral level, I understand it. We want to see kids go out there and achieve their dream and play football and do all of this stuff. But I'm with Coach Keaton. I'm with Kevin Banks. I'm with all those guys. Let science do what science does and guide us with facts.
Absolutely.
That are things that are tangible for us to be able to protect the people. Our young kids. These guys are going to play. They want to play regardless. It's adults and the adults in the room and the commission. It's their responsibility to protect these kids. And the parents, I'm not surprised because, parents do crazy stuff. So I ain't surprised at that. But come on, man. Come on, Lee.
Parents are just supporting their children. But you guys act like
parents are trying to eat well.
You remember when you used to go in the backyard and you play smear and you throw the football up and y'all act like I'm saying go out there and do that. What I'm saying is test like the NFL is doing. Make sure that the positivity rate is low and they can play. What is wrong with that? That all of you and Kevin Banks, you always try to slip one in, but they're not the same, but the flu can cause myocarditis, whatever it is, just as well as COVID. So come on, Kevin, you got to come better than that. But Mark, you act like I'm saying that they just go out and play. I'm saying, and I've said this since day one, test like the NFL, and you can have a football season. I don't want anybody to die. I just want you to test like the NFL. Go ahead, Raquel.
I'm not saying anything else.
This is ridiculous. The CDC has come out with all the guidelines about coronavirus, social distancing, and you're talking about playing. You're talking about playing a game, Coach Keaton. I know you know this well. You're talking about playing a game that it is impossible to social distance from. I mean, I don't care how much you test. It is impossible in the game of football to follow the guidelines of doctors and scientists and people that you say that we need to listen to. It's impossible to do it in football. So can we just go ahead and just say football is just it's collateral damage to the coronavirus. It's just something else. It's just something else that the coronavirus is messed up because adults they want some entertainment because, we Americans and we fat, we want to sit on the couch. We want to watch somebody do things and talk about what we used to do.
Yep.
Let the fat come in, okay?
Hey, we all there. I'm not excluding myself.
And I know we got to move on, but let me say this, Marv. If the NFL, they're now in pads, they're hitting, they're coming together. And Marv, if the positivity rate in the NFL is below 1%, you can legitimately get 2 football teams on the field if they're not positive cases and play football. I mean, what doesn't people understand about that? You can do that. That's all I'm saying. I mean, if it's an outbreak, yeah. But if they test and nobody's positive and the rate is low, why can't you play football? I don't get that. Last question. Mark, people are out in the streets every day, going to Walmart, going to Baskin and Robbins, going to the Gold Den, Raquel. That's that lovely fried chicken that y'all have. Hey, number 1 fried chicken in Columbia. They're going to get the
fish. Don't forget about the fish.
So why can they go do that and be around people, have drinks, social distance, dapping it up, but and not get tested? But the NFL can have a 0.46 positivity rate and can't play. That makes sense to me.
Well, this is a deal. we're talking about kids. So for the NFL again, and I've said this multiple times, I'm fine with the NFL playing whatever. They're adults, they're grown-ups, they're men, whatever. They want to play, let's play. I'm going to watch it. But when we're talking about high school children and college, barely young adults, I don't think they have enough right here to make a decision. So we have to make that decision for them. And they have so much to look forward to, Lee. They get COVID, they die. That's an option, right? They get COVID and they have a pre-existing issue and can never play again. Or they get COVID and have this inflammation tissue issue, expanding heart, enlarged heart, yada, 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 and they lose their whole career for one football season.
In every scenario you just said
one
is
football
they get
season.
COVID, no. In every scenario you said is they get COVID. What if they test and they're negative and they don't get COVID? Can they still play then, Raquel? Mark, can they still play?
No. We sit out the season.
We're gonna have plenty of time to continue this conversation about COVID because it ain't going nowhere. Okay. I do want to get to this final topic though. Let's get this one in real quick while we have a minute. Tom Brenneman, he's pulled off a Cincinnati Reds baseball game for the homophobic slur. So he has been pulled from broadcast for Fox Games this fall as well. Is the penalty too harsh? I want to hear what you guys think about this. This is pretty.
Nope.
Go ahead, Raquel. Go ahead.
Nope. Let me tell you, I don't feel bad for him. It's no different than the slurs that we hear that are racist. Same difference. You know, we wanna crucify folk when they. No, that's my answer. And if I say anything else, it will not be appropriate or nice. So no, I don't think it was too hard.
You running for the school board.
That too. We live in a country where, unfortunately, if you're Black, you're not liked and you're hated. If you're gay, lesbian, transsexual, bi, high, whatever, you're hated, you're killed, you're targeted. It is not American. And if we want to wave this American flag, we're not being American, you know, and I fall into several of those categories, right? And I've been very fortunate. I have been very fortunate to be loved and cared for as a Black woman. Like, I don't have the story that many have on any spectrum. I've never been disrespected in any spectrum. But I'll say this, when I see people judged and talked about and discounted and counted out because they're gay or because they're Black or because they're female, it's un-American. Who are we?
Right. Yeah. That's well said. I'm real quick on this for me, Mar. You know, my deal with him, Brenneman, Marv, is
Brenneman.
Why do you want to beg for forgiveness now, but why was it even coming out of your mouth? It came out of your mouth. So obviously, I always say your vocabulary is what your vocabulary is, right? Yeah. And just because you thought the microphone was off, you thought it was okay to say the faggot word or whatever you said, faggot city, whatever you said. Yeah, but that's who you are. I mean, that's who you are. You just got caught and the microphone was hot. So no, you're for forgiveness. They should take you off of there. And that should be the consequence of your actions, because Marv, he was calling a baseball game.
Yeah, he's calling a baseball.
Calling balls and strikes and home runs. You know, that never needed to come out of his mouth. Totally agree with you, Raquel.
You know, one of the things that really struck me about the whole thing was immediately he realized that, I done messed up, right? And he took the time to apologize to a litany of people. Like, he apologized to everybody, but mostly he apologized to the people who pay his salary. On air, he apologized right there, to the people who pay his paychecks. And it was, it was just very transparent. It was a bid to continue to get paid. Let me own this real quick and let me apologize because I still need to get paid. But you know who he didn't apologize to? He didn't apologize to gay men. He didn't apologize to LGBTQ people. He didn't apologize to any of them. And that was the most probably a parent thing to me. He couldn't bring himself to even say those words to apologize to them, but the word fag, really came off of his tongue like it was second nature, like you
That's
said.
his, okay.
But
That's,
that's what he says in his free time. That's
Yeah.
who he
absolutely,
is when
Raquel.
he's not on the air.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that's the
Absolutely.
that's the golden oldie of like racists and people who say that, the first thing that they're gonna say is, this is not who I am, right? Yeah, it is who you are. Because if it wasn't who you are, that never will come out of your mouth.
Never would have come out your mouth.
Especially if you were on the air. So, I know
Right.
people are gonna be like, oh, it's too harsh and we shouldn't do this and we're gonna get blowback because of the cancel culture and all this stuff. He's a 60-something-year-old man. To me, that should be reserved for people who maybe 20 years ago said something and they've got a track record of doing something different, maybe like Michael Vick and what he's done in lieu of how people felt about what he did to animals.
Yeah.
Like, I would reserve that to people like that. For him, he needs to be fired. He need to shut the hell up and he need to be gone.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lamondre.
Absolutely. We've got 2 comments from YouTube. One is from Kevin Banks, and he says, nope, the same thing happened to Howard Cosell for less. And then we have one from Poppy, and she says, the penalty is not too harsh at all. Berneman got what he deserved. I'm glad he got caught on a hot mic. Fake apology. It was too quick of an apology. And let me say this. The other piece that really stood out to me is even during his apology, he stopped in the middle of his apology to call a play and then went right back to it.
A
And so
home
what
run,
that tells
Andre.
and what that tells you is that it was
bro.
not authentic, that it was not real. And the very first thing he thought was, no, I need to keep this job. So I want to show that I'm still doing what I was supposed to do. He got what he deserved, and I'm glad they pulled him right in the middle of the game.
Yep.
There it is.
But the last thing I'll say, I'm glad that we can get in this forum and we can talk real, because I was watching some of the morning talk shows, Marv, and one of our brothers, I ain't gonna call his name, but he was saying, well, I feel it's too harsh because I don't know him, but I know people that know him and they say he's a good guy. Look, I don't do that third party stuff. I go by what comes out of your mouth. And like you said, Marv, that's who he is. If you were 15, 16, 20, and you made up for that and you showed you're contrite by your actions, but no, you hit it, Marv. He just wanted them dollars to still come back.
Yeah, he just wanted them dollars to still come back. Raquel, you want to close us out with anything on it?
No, I mean, it's un-American.
Yeah.
We're fighting right now, and I'll tell you what, guys, I'm so excited about Kamala. We're going to make history in a way that we've never done in this country, and it's big for all people of color. If you are a minority, if you are a woman, the America that Biden and Kamala is fighting for is the total opposite of the one that we saw from this young man, or this old man, I should say.
Man. Absolutely.
So for me and my kids, and Lee, don't give me a hard time, but I am a mommy, and I'm a mommy first. I'm a mother before I'm anything else. As a matter of fact, at this point in my life, I'm nothing if not. I'm a mother, and I don't want my kids to grow up in an America that this guy sees.
Yeah.
I don't want them to grow up in an America that this guy sees through his lenses. So we have a fight on our hands as minorities, as Black people, and we have to be ready for the fight if we want our kids. And Lee, you have a 2-year-old?
2-year-old. Yep.
He shouldn't have to grow up in a world where people see gays that way. You should be gay and that's it.
Yeah.
You should be Black and that's it. You should be a woman and that's it.
Yeah. I agree.
Nothing should come after. Your character and who you are should speak next.
Yep.
What have you done? What's your legacy? What's your body of work? Who are you? How many people did you help today? How many people did you smile at today? Where did you make a difference? And that's the world that I want my little people to grow up in. So if we want a better America, we got to get people like that off the radio, off TV, and we got to be as harsh as we can when it comes to their careers, because we know if we affect the bottom line, we can get them in line.
Yep. There you go.
No.
No better way to end than to end on that note. Raquel, well said. We up against the time, you guys, so we do have to leave you. But it is, like Lee said, it is a pleasure for us to be able to sit here and talk freely about things that we see that do bother us on a daily basis. But it's refreshing to be able to talk to people who are able to have a voice and express the things that we feel like we see. And for all of those that join us and express that as well, we do appreciate that. And you can appreciate us even more by subscribing on YouTube.
And telling your friends. One person, each person tell another one. Come on now.
That's right. And like us on Facebook, but we enjoy what we do. We enjoy talking about these topics, and I hope everybody has a blessed Friday evening.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 o'clock. Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Mr. Lee Jones, Miss Raquel M.R. Thomas, I am Marvin Orange. Our man LP, as you guys always see, smooth operator as I call him. For all of us, have a great night. Thanks for joining us, guys.